Hello everyone, I'm Jackie and I work in the legal department for PromoWest. Today I'm going to show you how to make two different masks that require no sewing and use a lot of items that you can get easily and that are not too expensive, and they will provide great protection for you and anyone around you. I don't know about you guys, but I'm hearing all types of drama out there about everyone's right to wear a mask or not to wear a mask. So I have decided to make masks that have filter pockets so that I'm not relying on the decisions of other people to determine my own health, safety, and well-being. So what you'll want to do is hop online, do some research. There's lots of information out there about different options for filters. I'll be using a MERV 13 grade filter, which filters nearly as well as the N95 masks. So jump online, you can do a quick Google search, just any type of filter, see what works for you. Other than that, let's get started on our first mask, which is the Ace Bandage Pocket Filter Mask. Okay, so the first mask that I'm going to show you is the Ace Bandage Pocket Filter Mask. Let's go over the items we have here to make this mask. First of all, you're going to need your Ace Bandage. We're doing hot pink today. It comes in all types of colors. This is the kind that sticks to itself, not the cotton kind. We have a Sharpie, we have the self-adhesive fasteners, which I'm calling nose bendies for this application. You can also use a pipe cleaner. Shoestring, you want that to be about 4 to 5 feet long. You have your hot glue gun, your filter material, and your template. Okay, so first things first, make sure you plug in your glue gun. You want to get that going so it can be heating up while you take these first steps. So you're going to cut the Ace Bandage material into 6 11-inch long strips, and then from there you're going to overlap them about halfway up on each one. Make sure you press so they're sticking together really well. Don't stretch them out. Make sure they're just kind of loosely laying over each other, and you'll see why once you actually put this mask on. So there's 3, and you'll see that these aren't exactly all the same length. That doesn't matter at all. You'll see later on when we actually take some further steps. 4, there's 5, and 6. Okay, so now you have your 6 strips. They all stick together. Just the way this material is, it really creates its own really good adhesive. So then you want to take your template and just lay it over. Just to kind of review the measurements, these are about 1.5 inches deep. Now you can adjust this depending on how much space you want for the nose area. We got about 2 inches here, 4 inches here, 11 inches all the way across. This is about 2 3/4 inches, and then from here to here is about 5 inches. Again, this is something that doesn't need to be exact. So then you're just going to want to take your Sharpie and draw on your template. Okay, now that we have our template drawn onto our material, we're just going to cut this out. As you notice, the Sharpie, it does have a pretty big tip, so I cut on the inside. I have cut on the outside when I've made these in the past, and it just kind of makes it a little sloppier whenever you actually try to do some of the other steps later on. So, and then plus you won't have that black outline on your mask whenever you actually do have the final product. And then you're going to want to save this extra material because we'll be using that for other pieces of the mask later on. Again, this doesn't have to be exact. I just kind of cut straight out. You don't even have to cut these edges. You can just leave those kind of as they are. right. So here is our main piece of the mask. Okay, now that we have our main template, we're going to take our shoestring and we're going to lay it here sort of in a U shape, and you'll see whenever we actually put the mask on later why we're attaching the shoestring this way. So you're going to want to fold this over. Don't make it very tight. You want there to be a decent amount of space so that that string can flow through pretty easily. Again, the good thing is this adhesive does stick to itself, so it's pretty easy to just kind of press on the edges, just apply some pressure, and there we go. And then just go like this, make sure that there's really a lot of room for that string to flow through. Okay, now that we have this part secure, this is where our hot glue gun comes in. Now, although this material does stick to itself, there is going to be a lot of pressure applied to this area because this is where all the tension is going to go whenever you tighten and loosen your mask. So just do a line of hot glue right along the seam where the edges of the ace bandage stick to the main part there. So just do one simple line, and then we're just going to let that dry for about 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, now that the glue is dry, we are going to focus on the nose area. So you're just going to take these two and fold one just a little over the other and really press down at that main seam there. You'll see on the outside, and it'll kind of create a little indentation so you have space for your nose. Once that is done, you're going to want to take these self-adhesive fasteners, or again, you can use a pipe cleaner. This is what they look like, and we're not going to need the whole length, so we're just going to cut off these parts. And there is an adhesive on here, so we'll just peel that off if I can get it. Okay, almost there. There we go. Okay, and then you're just going to want to bend this in half. It doesn't really matter right now. You'll see whenever we actually put this on, there'll be lots of ways you can adjust it. But right now, we just want to secure this in that nose area. So go ahead and just get that on there. Oh, I want to redo that. We don't want the metal to be off or to show outside of the mask. So kind of find that sweet spot where it's still on that top part. There we go. So we just have that in there. And then I'll show you in the next step what we're going to do. Okay, like I said, in this next step, nobody wants this metal up against their face. That's not comfortable for anyone. So some of that scrap material that you had, just kind of see what is going to fit along there. I think I'm going to go ahead and use this piece. Doesn't matter what it looks like because it's going to be on the inside. So you're going to want to really loosely just push that around that metal piece. Again, this material sticks to itself. Don't worry about it going outside of the mask. We're going to cut that slack material off. So you just really want to get it to stick on there so you don't have that metal piece up against your skin. So you'll see on this side we do have some of that excess material. So we're just going to trim that off so that it's all in line and nice and tidy. This is kind of an awkward angle to get. And then there is kind of a point up here. I'm just going to trim that off because it looks kind of awkward. Just want to line that up nice. This extra material here, we'll just cut that down. All right, so this is what we're looking at on the outside and then on the inside. Okay, so full disclosure, the shoestring I'm using in this example is too small. I didn't have any of the longer shoestrings left for this video, but it's still a good example, and then I'll use one of my other versions of the mask whenever we try this on. But at this point, you can simply tie this at the top. I decided to do 2 slip knots. I decided that because it's easier to take on and off. Also, there's less of a chance of me getting my hair tangled in the shoestring. So to do these slip knots, you kind of want to lay the strings over one another like that. And then you take the end, wrap it around this string, and then tuck it through itself. And then just kind of pull it tight right there. You're going to do the same on this side. So wrap it around and then tuck it through itself. Let me try that again. Around. And then you're tucking it through itself. So once you pull those both tight, you'll see that when you pull on these ends here, it gets tighter. And then whenever you pull on these sides, it gets looser. So that makes it a lot easier whenever you're throwing the mask on. Just put it on, pull these strings, and it'll tighten. And then when you're ready to take it off, pull here, and then it loosens. Okay, so now that we have that part of the mask done, last but not least, we're going to do our filter pocket. So again, you can choose your filter material. This is a MERV 13 grade filter, and it's about 4 by 4. It fits pretty well in here. You might want to go a little bit smaller. That's kind of your call. Kind of mess around with it and see what's more comfortable for you. Now you should have had some material left over from the original Ace bandage that you used to make those 6 rows. So you're going to kind of see how the filter lays in here. And then, you know, you can do a full pocket that goes up the sides. I've found it sufficient just to do one at the bottom. Again, I just line it up with this bottom chin area, and it lays over the filter just, you know, about 1 inch up. And then again, you just kind of stick to itself right here. Just apply some pressure. It doesn't need to go all the way out. I'm going to cut mine off about right here. All right, so that just kind of holds that filter in there whenever you have the mask on. Again, there is going to be this excess here, so you're just going to want to trim that off. So again, it's clean and fits comfortably around your chin. All right, so there's your filter pocket. And whenever you need to change your filter out, you can just peel this out, take it out, put the new one in, however you'd like, and then just secure that back down. And now here at the end, I will try this on and show you how it fits. Okay, so the next mask we're going to do, I'm calling just a simple cotton filter pocket mask. We're going to need 2 sheets of 4-inch by 10-inch material, and then 1 that is 8 by 12. Again, I just cut up an old bed sheet. This is pretty thick material. The thicker the better, so you need 2 that are this size, and just 1 big sheet, again, that is that 8 by 12. So in addition to that, you're going to need the self-adhesive fasteners. Again, you can use pipe cleaner. I'm calling them nose bendies because that's their application for this. Your shoestring, some hem tape. I don't have the container for this. This is all I had left, but if you just jump online and type in hem tape, anything will work. And then I'm using this old flat iron that I found, but you can also use a clothing iron. Okay, your first step is making sure that your iron is hot and ready to go. Set that to the side. You're going to want to take each of these smaller pieces and fold them in long ways, about 1 inch to 1/2 inch up. Don't be too worried about this being exact. I'll show you why a little later. I usually just kind of do it by hand and create like a pretty defined crease with my hot iron, just so that whenever I put the hem tape in there, it just makes it easier to already have that defined edge. Okay, so you'll see that's kind of approximate. It doesn't need to be exact, does not need to be perfect here. Now you have your roll of hem tape. You're gonna wanna just measure it, leave a little bit of space on each side. I'd say that's maybe 1/4 of an inch, but again, it doesn't need to be exact. You'll see why a little later. So you're just gonna tuck that hem tape into this crease here, leaving a little space on each side. Now here's where your hot iron comes in. This stuff, it works just, I guess, like glue, but you just kind of run it along here and it'll really create a nice defined edge that will stay and hold everything in place. Now I kind of run it along here. You'll start to kind of see the hem tape really take form, but you really want to make sure that you have a nice good seal. All right, so we did that for one, and we're going to want to go ahead and do it for this other one as well. So let's just fold this up again, probably about 1 inch or 1/2 inch. Again, it's really not too big of a deal if you're exact. Really create that defined edge to make it easier when we get the hem tape out. One thing you definitely want to make sure of is that this is wider than the hem tape, because you don't want the hem tape, it gets kind of sticky. Again, it's like glue. You don't want that sticking out up here. Let's just cut that out right there. Looks good. All right, get that centered. Move it this way a little bit. Okay, use this hot iron here again. I had this just tucked away in a drawer, but you can use a clothing iron. Anything that will apply hot pressure will work fine, just to secure this hem tape and really make sure you have that nice edge. All right, that should be good. So now you'll see you have these two pieces there. Okay, now we have your larger 8x12 piece, and we're just going to center these smaller pieces right in the middle of that with these hemmed edges facing each other. This is going to form the pocket for your filter. So it's most important that these line up. If these aren't exact, that doesn't really matter. You'll see why in a second. Once you get those positioned where you want them to be, you're just going to do one cut on each corner from this corner to the tip of the corner of the smaller piece here on each side. Let's spin that around. Get this corner. And these edges here, you're going to be putting hem tape there, so you want to make sure it's not too thin. If you need to, even trim these filter pockets down. You want those edges to be wider than the hem tape that you're using. And you can see these are not even close to being symmetrical, but it's not going to matter because the hem tape will fix all of that. Okay, now that we have these 4 corners cut, we're going to do these 2 long edges. Now again, you're going to want to lay this hem tape along, leave a little bit of space there. And again, you'll see why in a later step. If you don't, it's not a huge deal. It just makes things easier down the line. So put this right along the bottom of that filter pocket piece, and then we cut these so that when you fold this up, it's a lot easier and cleaner. to really get that crease going. And this can be a little hard to hold, but you get the hang of it. And then you just wanna, again, that first run, just focus on creating that clean crease so that it stays even all along the edge there. And once that's created, your hem tape is already in there. So you're just gonna wanna really pull this along so you can secure that crease. All right, that edge is secure. Let's flip it around. We're only doing the long edges right now, and you'll see why in a minute. You really want to make sure you let this cool before you do too much. That's the way you really get a secure bond with that hem tape. So let's do this edge. Again, leaving a little bit of space. Line it up right along the edge of that pocket filter piece. Fold that up. And then again, you're just doing this first one to really define where you want that crease to be. Okay. All right, those are your two long edges. Once this has cooled, go ahead and cut off these little excess tabs. They're just gonna get in the way later. Make sure you leave the ones here for now. We'll cut those off later, but they will make things easier on this next step if you leave them for now. Okay, now it is time for our shoestring. Again, you want this shoestring to be about 4 to 5 feet long. For this, I only had this small one for this video, but if you have one this short, it's not really gonna work out in the long run. So whenever I try this on later, I'll probably be using a different one where I do have the longer shoestring, but for now, this will work. So the reason that we didn't bring the hem tape all the way out is because we're going to fold this over here. If we would have brought it all the way out, it would have really made it hard for this to bend, which is still, you know, it still works. It just makes it a little harder on you. So now that we have the shoestring in this U shape, again, we're going to use the hem tape. Now you can use hot glue. It's not going to be quite as clean, but it would still work. These masks are pretty practical. They look decent, but the main idea is to have something that you can use some pretty basic items and still have that filter pocket. So again, you're going to want to fold this over. You want the shoestring in there, and you want it to be a pretty loose fold so that whenever, again, you're putting this mask on, there's a lot of slack for that string to be able to flow through. So I kind of do it this way, just to really, again, do the base part, just to make sure we have that where we need it. And this will just hold it in place briefly. All right, so we've kind of secured that. Make sure your string flows through nice and well and it's not getting caught in the glue. And then you're just gonna wanna really spend some time pressing that down, getting it really secure in there. All right, while that's cooling, we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing on this side. Make sure you leave enough room for the shoestring to be able to flow through there pretty easily. Just pressing this down here just to kind of get that adhesive started so it stays lined up where we want it. See how these little points really help you so you're not burning your fingers. Okay, let's really get this a good seal. Okay, now again, if this is still hot, you just want to leave it rest. It cools pretty quickly, but if you start moving it around a lot, that adhesive won't take. Okay, so now that we have let this cool, again, we're gonna trim off these corners because we don't need them anymore and they look sloppy. All right, now that we've got that trimmed, next step is what I'm calling, again, our nose bendies. You can, again, use a pipe cleaner. For this mask, we are going to use the whole piece. And you're just gonna wanna, this has adhesive on it, so just kind of find the middle. You're gonna wanna work it up into here. The good thing is, you have some space up here. You just want to tuck it right in the middle at the top there. And then just press down and that adhesive will keep it in place. Okay, now that we have the nose bendy piece in there, we're going to do the slip knots. Now again, this isn't a necessary step. You can just leave it like this and tie it in a bow or a knot whenever you put it on. I don't like that because my hair gets tangled in it. So I'm going to do 2 slip knots. So you lay them over each other like this. You take the one end, wrap it around this piece, and tuck it through itself. So there's that side. Same over here, wrap it around and tuck it through itself. All right, now you have 2 slip knots, which you'll see whenever you pull here, it tightens. Whenever you pull here, it loosens. All right, now you'll see, this is again the filter material, and you have your pocket right here. So this simply can just go in there, tuck it into each corner. That'll provide some extra protection for you. Close it up, and then whenever you're ready to swap it out, you can do so. So there's the inside and the front. Now we will try these on. Okay guys, so as I mentioned downstairs, we did use a hot pink mask, but the string I had to make that video was too short. I was out of this longer 4 to 5 foot long shoestring. So I'm going to use a red mask that I made before to kind of show you how to put this on. So what you'll want to do first is bring it over your head like this, sort of like a necklace. And the good thing is whenever you're in the car on the way to wherever you're going or don't really want to wear it, at that point, you can just kind of have it around your neck like this. When you're ready to actually put it on, just bring it to your face. Just kind of adjust it to where you want it to fit. The first time you do it, it can be a little awkward, but once you really get it to where it's accustomed to you, it's easier to take on and off pretty smoothly. So whenever you find out where you want it to be, again with these slip knots, just pull and it'll tighten to your face. And then you can just kind of move it around or adjust to wherever. You can tuck these in behind your ears or down if it's really bothering you that they're showing. One thing I like to do, since this bandage does stick to itself, I kind of like to pinch right here on each side. It creates a little more space around your nose and your mouth. And I really like this one because it is a little lighter material, and it's just kind of comfortable compared to other ones that I've worn. So then whenever you take it off, you just take these two sides and pull, and it loosens. All right, now I'll show you how to put on the cotton mask that I made. Okay, guys, similar situation. The example that I made downstairs for you, the shoestring was too short. So this is one that I made previously that I'm going to use to show you how to put it on. Again, just kind of put it over your head like a necklace and let it hang down. Whenever you're ready to bring it up to wear it, you can just sort of, again, this first time, it is a little harder to get it adjusted, but once you have it fit to you, it's easier to, put on and take off pretty regularly. So this one, you're going to want to bring it to your face. Now, remember, we put this piece here to really be able to bend it to your nose, wherever you'd like it. And that goes all the way across the bridge of your face. So you can really kind of get it secure there however you want. And then just pull here to tighten it. Now this one, it is a little bigger and looser, but if you really get it adjusted, I like that it leaves a lot of space around your mouth, and then you can just tighten and loosen as you want. Now whenever you're ready to take it off, just pull, it loosens, and you flip it down. All right, guys, that does it for the Ace Bandage Pocket Filter and Cotton Pocket Filter face masks. Again, these are good if you can't sew, if you aren't very crafty. I know I'm not, but you just want something that's simple, that will protect not only others, but also yourself, with the option to be able to add that filter material in. I hope these helped. Feel free to reach out with any questions in the comments section, or by sending a private message to any of our PromoWest social pages, or you can send an email to feedback@promowestlive.com. Take care.